धेरैजसो मानिसहरू त्यस दिनको पर्खाइमा हुने गर्छन्। एक दिन टाइम मेरो पनि आउनेछ जब एउटा युवक 18 देखि 20 वर्षको उमेरमा पुग्न थाल्छ, तब उसले सोच्ने गर्छ, म त अहिले सानै छु, मेरो केही गर्ने उमेर भएकै छैन, मसँग मेरो पुरा जीवन बाँकी छ। यो उमेर भनेको पढ्ने, लेख्ने, साथीहरूसँग रमाइलो गर्ने अनि खेल्ने उमेर हो। मेरो पुरा जीवन बाँकी छ, एक न एक दिन टाइम मेरो पनि आउनेछ। यो सोच्दा सोच्दै उसले उमेरले 30 लागिसक्छ अनि उसलाई लाग्न थाल्छ, यही उमेर हो मैले केही गर्ने, केही गरौँ भने समय धेरै खराब चलिरहेको छ। यो अवस्थामा मैले के नै गर्न सक्छु, अझै पनि टाइम धेरै बाँकी छ, एक न एक दिन मेरो पनि टाइम कसो नआउला। यो सोच्दा सोच्दै उमेरले 50 पार गरिसक्छ, तब पनि मनमा झिनो आशा बालेर बसेको हुन्छ। आधीभन्दा धेरै उमेर बितिसक्यो। टाइमलाई पर्खदा पर्खदै एक दिन अचानक छाती दुख्न थाल्छ। डाक्टरले आएर भन्छ, तपाईको टाइम आइसक्यो, तपाईँ जिन्दगीको अन्तिम क्षणमा हुनुहुन्छ। ती सबै व्यक्तिलाई बोलाउनुहोस् जसलाई तपाईँ अन्तिम पटक भेट्न चाहनुहुन्छ, किनकि तपाईको टाइम आइसकेको छ। यसरी नै कहानी समाप्त हुन्छ प्राय सबै मानिसहरूको। यो
फेरि मैले तपाईहरुको लागि एउटा नयाँ भिडियो लिएर आएको छु। आज चाहिँ यो भिडियोले तपाईहरुभित्र अलिकति भए पनि हिम्मत भरिदिनेछ र तपाईहरुले यो भिडियो मन पर्यो भने लाइक, शेयर, कमेन्ट र सब्स्क्राइब गर्न नबिर्सिनु होला, किनकि तपाईहरुको सपोर्टले नै मलाई अझै राम्रो राम्रो भिडियोहरु बनाउन प्रेरणा दिने गर्छ। थ्यांक यू। जबसम्म तपाईले खोज्नु हुँदैन तबसम्म बाटो पाइदैन, किनकि लक्ष्यको स्वभाव नै यही हो कि त्यो आफै हिँडेर आउँदैन। मेहनत र ज्ञानले आफूलाई यति सक्षम बनाउनुस् कि तपाईलाई जित्नको लागि कोशिश हैन, षड्यन्त्र गर्न परोस्। जसले सपना देख्छ उसको बाटोमा लाखौं समस्याहरू आउने गर्छन्, तर सफलतापछि त्यही मान्छेलाई पुरै दुनियाँले जय जयकार गर्छन्। भरोसा सधैँ आफैमाथि गर्न सिक्नुस्, किनकि अरूको सहारा जति नै बलियो भए पनि एक न एक दिन साथ छोडेरै जान्छ। लडाईको मात्र एउटै परिणाम हुन्छ, या त जित हुन्छ या त हार हुन्छ। त्यसैले जिन्दगीको लडाईमा या त तपाईं हारेर बस्नुस् या जित्नको लागि लड्नुस्। विश्वास गर्नुस्, पुरै दुनिया तपाईको अगाडि झुक्न सक्छ, बस तपाईं भित्र त्यो झुकाउन सक्ने सामर्थ्य हुनुपर्छ। जिन्दगीमा तपाईले दुईवटा काम गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ, या त अरूलाई देखेर ताली बजाउनुस् या त आफै त्यो तालीको हकदार बन्ने कोसिस गर्नुस्। यदि तपाईं चिन्ता लिएर बस्नुभयो भने तपाईं आफै जल्नुहुनेछ, तर निश्चिन्त भएर बस्नुभयो भने तपाईको दुश्मन जल्नेछन्। केही गर्नु छ भने आफ्नो मनको सुन्नुस्, भीडको हैन, किनकि भीडको तपाईं हिस्सा बन्ने हैन, भीडको कारण बन्ने कोसिस गर्नुस्। यो जिन्दगी एउटा खेल हो। अब तपाईको हातमा छ कि तपाईं खेलाडी बन्ने हो या खेलौना बन्ने हो। जसले मेहनतलाई हतियार बनाउँछ उसको अगाडि सफलताले घोडा टेकिदिन्छ। यदि सूर्य जसरी चम्किनु छ भने पहिला सूर्य जसरी जल्नको लागि तयार हुनुस्। आफ्नो व्यक्तित्वलाई यस्तो बनाउनुस् कि जो आज तपाईलाई देख्न चाहदैनन्, भोलि तिनै मान्छेहरू तपाईलाई देख्नको लागि तर्सिउन्। यो कुरा सत्य हो कि समयलाई रोक्न सक्दैन, तर यो पनि सत्य हो कि यदि केही गर्ने अठोट गर्न सकियो भने समयले पनि हामीलाई रोक्न सक्दैन। अक्सर यो सुनिन्छ कि कुरा काट्ने र खुट्टा तान्नेहरूलाई समयले जवाफ दिन्छ, तर पूरा सत्य यो हो कि त्यो समय तपाईं आफैले नै ल्याउनु पर्ने हुन्छ। जब मान्छे नै बदलिन्छन् भने जब भाग्य बदल्न कुन ठुलो कुरा हो। बस एकचोटि आफूमाथि विश्वास गरेर त हेर।
Never fail until you stop trying. Two things are infinite, the universe and human stupidity, and I'm not sure about the universe. The world, as we have created, it is a process of our thinking. It cannot be changed without changing our thinking. I know, not with what weapons. World War III will be fought. But World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. Logic will get you from A to Z. Imagination will get you everywhere. Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. A clever person solves a problem. A wise person avoids it. Try not to become a man of success. Rather, become a man of value. Science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind. Any fool can know. The point is to understand. I speak to everyone in the same way, whether he is the garbage man or the president of the university. When you are courting a nice girl, an hour seems like a second. When you sit on a red-hot cinder, a second seems like an hour. That's relativity. If you want your children to be intelligent, read them fairy tales. If you want them to be more intelligent, read them more fairy tales. I am enough of an artist to draw freely upon my imagination. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world. I have no special talents. I am only passionately curious. Great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds. The measure of intelligence is the ability to change. If you can't explain it to a 6-year-old, you don't understand it yourself. There are only 2 ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is a miracle. Anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. Once you can accept the universe as matter expanding into nothing that is something, wearing stripes with plaid comes easy. If we knew what it was we were doing, it would not be called research, would it? If I were not a physicist, I would probably be a musician. I often think in music. I live my daydreams in music.
Once upon a time, there lived 2 children in a village. Both the children were brothers. One of them was 6-year-old and the other was 10-year-old. Both of them had great affection for each other. They would always be together and would always play together. Once, they both went out of the village while playing together. There was a forest outside the village where no one used to go. There was an old well in that forest. While playing, both those children reached near that well. Unaware of that well, suddenly the elder brother fell into the well. The elder brother started shouting loudly and started asking for help. He did not know how to swim. Seeing the elder brother falling in the well, the 6-year-old younger brother got worried and he started looking around so that he could call someone for his help. But there was no one nearby who could help him. Then the little child saw a rope lying nearby and a bucket tied to it. He quickly grabbed the rope with one hand and threw the bucket into the well with the other. The elder brother quickly grabbed the bucket. After that, the little boy started pulling his brother with all the power he had. It took him some time, but with great courage, the younger brother slowly pulled the rope and pulled his elder brother out of the well. After that, they both went back to their village. After going back to the village, they told everyone in the village what happened to them today. But no one believed them. The villagers could not believe that a small child of 6 years can lift the 10-year-old boy from the well with the help of a rope. Both the children explained a lot to them that they are telling the truth, but no one was ready to believe them. But there was an old and a wise person in the village who believed them. All the villagers had a great faith in that old wise man. The villagers went to him and said, "Sir, if you believe them, then we also have to agree with you. But tell us that how all this happened." The old wise man said that the children are telling how this happened, and that's it. The villagers again looked at each other and said, "We have heard it, what children said, but our question is that how a small child of 6 years who cannot even lift an iron bucket properly, how can he pull a 10-year-old child with an iron bucket out of the well? Where did that power came from in him?" The old wise man smiled and said, "My friends, this could be possible because at that time when the small child did this, there was no one at that place who could tell him that you cannot do this." If we see in our lives, we will find that people's word can have a big effect on others' life. Had there been people around that small child who would have discouraged him, he would have never been able to save the older child. Similarly, perhaps there are infinite possibilities hidden within you too, but you have weakened your ability by listening to people's negative words. Because when you try to move on the path of progress in your life, people often try to drag you backward. They try to discourage you and create self-doubts in you. At that time, if you start listening to them or believe them, then you will definitely get discouraged and deviate from your path. If you can turn a deaf ear to the critics, the self-doubts and the negative influence, then you can achieve so much more in your life. Therefore, always believe in yourself and you will do even the impossible. Once upon a time, a deer was pregnant and she was having labor pains. It was evening time. The forest was covered with black clouds. Due to the black clouds, lightning had fallen in the forest and the forest had caught fire. The deer had to leave her house due to forest fire. She came to a riverside to give birth to her children and drink some water. She saw her face in the river. Anxiety was visible on her face because her house was on fire and she had to give birth to her children. Just as she was going to drink water, she heard noise of some movement in the bushes on her left side. She looked to her left with squint eyes. She saw that behind the bushes a hunter was aiming at her with an arrow. The deer was already very nervous and was now even more afraid when she saw the hunter. The deer thought in her mind to run away from there. As she turned to run away to her right side, she saw that a ferocious lion was hiding in the bushes in her right side, and he was ready to attack her. The deer looked all around. There was hunter on one side, the lion on the other side, the forest fire on the third side, and the deep river on the fourth side. She could not cross the river because the river was very deep and full of crocodiles. Death was all around her. There was no way to escape. The deer thought hard to save her life, but there was no way out. Then the deer thought to herself that her death is certain, so why be afraid? Why not to die with dignity? The deer calmed down. She started drinking water fearlessly and started hoping for the best. Seeing her drinking water, the hunter drew his arrow, and as he was about to release his arrow, there was a strong lightning sound in the sky. The hunter's hands trembled due to strong lightning, and he missed his target. His arrow hit the lion. The lion got injured, and his eyes fell on the hunter. The lion attacked the hunter and started running toward him. The hunter started running to save his life, and lion started following him. With the lightning, it started raining heavily, and the forest fire was extinguished. After drinking water, as soon as the deer raised its mouth, she saw that there is neither a hunter nor a lion, and the forest fire has also been extinguished. The deer did not waste any time and ran away from there. She went to a safe place and gave birth to 3 children. If we see in our lives, then we will find that there are times in our life when we are surrounded by difficulties from all the sides and we don't see any way out. But one should not lose courage in such times. No matter how much problem come in your life, never be afraid of it. Instead, face problem openly and think positively. Because once you face problems with courage and think positively, then you have hope. And once you have hope, anything is possible.
Once upon a time, a farmer got so old that he couldn't work the fields anymore. So he would spend the day just sitting on the porch. His son, still working the farm, would look up from time to time and see his father sitting there. He's of no use anymore, the son thought to himself. He doesn't do anything. One day, the son got so frustrated by this that he built a wood coffin, dragged it over the porch, and told his father to get in. Without saying anything, the father climbed inside. After closing the lid, the son dragged the coffin to the edge of the farm, where there was a high cliff. As he approached the drop, he heard a light tapping on the lid from inside the coffin. He opened it up. Still lying there peacefully, the father looked up at his son. "I know you are going to throw me over the cliff, but before you do, may I suggest something?" "What is it?" replied the son. "Throw me over the cliff if you like," said the father. "But save this good wood coffin. Your children might need to use it one day." You see, in life, in your life, You will be judged by how you treat people whom you gain nothing of anymore. How do you treat somebody who is not useful to you? Do you treat them with the same respect as you do with someone who is beneficial to you? Think about it. And treat everyone with dignity and respect.
He was born in a small farming village in Japan. His family was poor. They all lived in a small house with very little money. When he was only 9 years old, he left school and started working in a small shop to support his family. He used to get up every day before sunrise, clean the store, run errands, and then look after the children of his employer. Some years later, destiny showed him a new path. He got a job in an electricity company. There, he got interested in light bulbs and sockets. Every night, he started learning and experimenting on his own. One day, he made an improved version of a light socket all by himself. He got very excited and showed it to his boss. But his boss was not impressed and said such a product will never work. Even though he was rejected, he believed in his idea. He wanted to do something on his own, start his own company. He asked his friends. They told him he cannot do it. He cannot leave his permanent job and start his own company. He has no experience, very little money, and hardly any education. Still, he believed in himself. So when he turned 22, he took a big decision. He left his stable job and started his own small manufacturing company. He and his wife started manufacturing sockets in their small house. They both went door to door selling it, but no shop owner was interested. They did not get any orders. Months passed by, and still they were not able to sell their product. He sold his furniture, borrowed money to survive a little longer. Many days he thought, I will give up and go back to my job. But in the morning, as the sun rose, he was out on the streets looking for orders, surviving for one more day. Then came a time he was almost bankrupt, and just when he was closest to giving up his dream, that's when a miracle happened in his life. Out of nowhere, he got his first major order of 1,000 pieces. Now, 100 years after that first major order of 1,000 pieces, his company now has over 250,000 employees with annual sales of $65 billion. His company products are now sold across the world. All this was made possible by a man with no education and no money. All he had was a belief in himself. His name is Konosuke Matsushita. The company he started in his small house is now known across the world as Panasonic. Success is not dependent on how educated you are or how much money you have. Success is about believing in yourself. So, if you are also in pursuit of success, just believe in yourself when no one else does. Survive when other people give up. And just wait for that one miracle.
के तपाईलाई सफल मानिसहरूको माइन्डसेटको बारेमा थाहा छ? पक्कै पनि तपाई सोच्नुहुन्छ होला सफल मानिसहरू कसरी सफल हुन्छन् भनेर। सफल मानिसहरू उनीहरूको माइन्डसेटले गर्दा नै सफल भएका हुन्। उनीहरूले आम मानिसले भन्दा फरक दृष्टिकोण राख्ने गर्छन्। यही दृष्टिकोणले गर्दा नै उनीहरू आम मानिसभन्दा फरक बनिरहेका हुन्छन्। धेरै मानिसहरू सफल व्यक्तिहरू जस्तै बन्न चाहन्छन्, तर उनीहरूले आफ्नो पुरानो बानीलाई छोड्न चाहँदैनन्। तपाईँ पनि सफल बन्न चाहनुहुन्छ भने हामीले आज तपाईँको लागि सफल मानिसहरूले गर्नुपर्ने कामबारे चर्चा गर्नेछौँ। एकैछिन सुन्नुहोस् त, मैले तपाईँ जस्ता कम मानिसहरू मात्र देखेको छु जो सफल मानिसहरूको बारेमा जान्न चाहन्छन् र आफू पनि त्यही बाटोमा हिँड्न चाहन्छन्। ती मानिसहरूमध्ये तपाईँ पनि एकजना हुनुहुन्छ। तसर्थ सधैँ यस्तै ज्ञानको नजिक रहन च्यानललाई सब्सक्राइब गर्नुहोला। आउनुहोस् भिडियोलाई सुरु गरौँ। आज हामी सफल व्यक्तिका 5 गुणको बारेमा चर्चा गर्दैछौँ, जसलाई फलो गरेर तपाईँ पनि सफल बन्न सक्नुहुन्छ। नम्बर 1 मा छ सफल व्यक्तिहरू कहिल्यै पनि हार मान्दैनन्। सफल बन्ने सूत्रहरूमा सबभन्दा गतिलो सूत्र भनेको आफ्नो काममा निरन्तरता दिनु हो। अर्थात् आफूले गरिरहेको काममा सफलता हासिल नगरेसम्म त्यो काम गरिराख्ने, चाहे जस्तोसुकै अवस्था आओस्। सफल व्यक्तिहरूले आफ्नो कामलाई निरन्तरता दिन छोड्दैनन्। उनीहरूको काम जतिपटक असफल भए पनि उनीहरू एकपटक फेरि एक प्रयास भन्दै आफ्नो काममा लागि पर्दछन् र सफल भएरै छोड्दछन्। तपाईले इलन मस्कलाई त चिन्नु भएकै छ होला। उनी स्पेस एक्स, टेस्ला र अन्य कयौं कम्पनीका मालिक हुन्। यदि उनले पनि आफ्नो काम असफल भएको भन्दै हार मानेको भए आज स्पेस एक्स र टेस्ला जस्ता कम्पनीको बारेमा हामीले सुन्ने थिएनौँ। आफूले पाएको हारलाई स्वीकारेर आफ्नो काम र लक्ष्यलाई निरन्तरता नदिएको भए आज मङ्गल ग्रहमा बस्ती बसाल्ने कुरा हाम्रो कल्पनामा मात्र सीमित हुन्थ्यो। आफ्नो भयभरको सम्पत्ति स्पेस एक्समा लगाए 3 पटकसम्म रकेट प्रक्षेपण गर्दा उनी असफल भए। सबैले भन्न थाले, तिमी अब बर्बाद भयौ, तिमी सकियौ, तिमी अब कहिल्यै उठ्न सक्दैनौ, अब तिमी असफल भइसक्यौ भनेर दुनियाँले भन्दा उनले भने म पुनः एकपटक प्रयास गर्छु। हो, त्यही प्रयासले गर्दा 4थो पटकमा उनले रकेट प्रक्षेपण गरी धरतीमा फर्काएर ल्याए। यो उनको हार प्रतिको फरक दृष्टिकोणले गर्दा भएको हो। यदि उनले पनि साधारण मानिसले जस्तै माइन्डसेट बनाएको भए उनी अहिले यो शताब्दीको सबभन्दा क्रान्तिकारी व्यक्तिको रूपमा विश्वभर चर्चित हुँदैनथे। अर्का छन् 979 चोटि असफल हुँदा पनि हार नमानी आफ्नो कामलाई निरन्तरता दिने व्यक्ति, जो उनको शताब्दीको सबभन्दा सर्वश्रेष्ठ वैज्ञानिक र धनीहरूमा गनिने गर्दथे। तपाईले थाहा पाइसक्नुभयो होला, हामी कुरा गर्दैछौँ थोमस अल्वा एडिसनको। उनी बल्ब बनाउँदा 979 पटक असफल भएको कुरा सबैलाई थाहा छ। उनले आफ्नो हरेक अनुसन्धान र आविष्कारमा एकपटक पनि हार मानेनन्। उनले हरेक पटकको आफ्नो अनुसन्धानमा पटक पटक र बारम्बार असफलता पाउँदा पनि उनको मनमा कहिल्यै हार मानेको अनुभव भएन, जसले गर्दा 979 पटकको असफलता पश्चात उनले बल्बको आविष्कार गरे र हामी आज उज्यालो मुनि बस्न पाइरहेका छौँ। सोच्नुहोस् त, तपाईँ आफ्नो कामलाई कति पटक गर्नुभयो? हामीहरू त 1-2 असफलतापछि हामीले त्यो काम छोडेर अर्को काम गर्न थाल्छौँ। तर सफल व्यक्तिहरूले कहिल्यै पनि यस्तो गर्दैनन्। उनीहरू आफ्नो काम यसरी गर्छन् कि कयौं हारको बावजुद उनीहरूले सफलता पाएरै छोड्दछन् र असफलतालाई नै असफल बनाइदिन्छन्। नम्बर 2, सफल व्यक्तिहरू पढाइप्रति सधैँ भोको रहन्छन्। तपाईँ आफूले सिक्ने कुराप्रति कतिको पागल हुनुहुन्छ त्यसले पनि तपाईँ सफल बन्नुहुन्छ कि बन्नुहुन्न भनेर बताइदिन्छ। यदि तपाईँ पढ्नुमा र सिक्नुमा निकै अल्छी हुनुहुन्छ भने तपाईँ जीवनमा सफल हुनुहुन्छ भनेर भन्न सकिन्न। तपाईँले कहिल्यै एउटा कुराको विचार गर्नुभएको छ? हरेक सफल व्यक्तिहरूको पढ्ने बानी हुन्छ। त्यसैले तपाईँ पनि सफल बन्न चाहनुहुन्छ भने सफल व्यक्तिहरूले गरे जस्तै गर्न थाल्नुहोस्। उनीहरूले गरे जस्तो नक्कल गर्नुहोस्। असफल मानिसले चाहिँ गर्नुभयो भने तपाईँ कहिल्यै सफल बन्नुहुन्न। असफल व्यक्तिहरूले गरिरहेको काम हरेकले गरिरहेका हुन्छन्, तर सफल व्यक्तिले गरे जस्तै गर्नुभयो भने तपाईँ सफल बन्न सक्नुहुन्छ। यहाँ पुनः इलन मस्कलाई जोडौँ। इलन मस्कले पुस्तक पढेको भरमा पुनः प्रयोग गर्न सक्ने रकेट बनाए। तपाईलाई सुन्दा अचम्म लाग्न सक्छ। उनले 10 वर्षको उमेरमा यति धेरै पुस्तक पढेका थिए कि कुनै पढे लेखेको मानिसले पनि त्यति धेरै पुस्तकहरू पढेको थिएन। किताब पढेको आधारमा उनले रकेट बनाए। उनले कहिल्यै पनि विद्यालय गएर रकेटको अध्ययन गरेनन्। उनले कहिले रकेट साइन्सको कुनै पनि एजुकेसन लिएनन्। मात्र किताब पढेको आधारमा रकेट बनाए र पुरै रकेट साइन्सको बारेमा बुझे। 13 वर्षसम्म विश्वका धनी मानिस बनेका बिल गेट्सलाई त पक्कै पनि चिन्नुहुन्छ होला। उनी माइक्रोसफ्ट कम्पनीका ओनर हुन्। उनी अहिले पनि शीर्ष 5 बिलियनियरहरू भित्र पर्दछन्। उनी पनि सानै उमेरबाट 14-15 घण्टा पुस्तक पढिरहन्थे। उनी अहिले पनि एक वर्षमा 50 भन्दा बढी किताबहरू पढ्ने गर्छन्। उनी एकपटक फ्लाइटमा कतै जाँदै थिए। उनलाई नराम्रो सिट पर्यो जसमा बसेर उनले पुस्तक पढ्दै थिए। तब एक पाइलटको नजर उनीमा पर्यो जसले उनलाई चिनेर राम्रो सिटमा गई बस्न आग्रह गरे। तर बिल गेट्सले जवाब दिए, मैले किताब पढ्न थालिसकेको छु। यदि मैले सिट चेन्ज गर्न थालेँ भने मैले पढ्न लागेको किताबको 5 पेज छुट्छ। उनको यो भनाइबाट थाहा हुन्छ कि किताब पढ्नु उनको लागि कति महत्त्वपूर्ण छ। हामीले पनि उनीबाट केही सिक्न जरुरी छ। हामी त एकैछिन फुर्सद पाउन साथ सोशल मिडियामा व्यस्त हुन थाल्छौँ। यसरी हामीले कहिल्यै पनि सफल बन्न सक्दैनौँ। सफल बन्नको लागि अब हामीले पनि आफ्नो दैनिकीमा पुस्तक पढ्ने बानी बसाल्न जरुरी छ। नम्बर 3, सफल मानिसहरू आफ्नो सम्पूर्ण फोकस आफ्नो लक्ष्यमा राख्दछन्। हामी कहिल्यै पनि आफ्नो फोकस आफ्नो लक्ष्यमा लगाउँदैनौँ। हामी त एउटा काम पूरा हुन नपाउँदै अर्को काममा आफ्नो ध्यान बाँड्न थाल्छौँ। तर सफल मानिसहरू यसो गर्दैनन्। उनीहरू आफ्नो काममा यति धेरै ध्यान केन्द्रित गर्दछन् कि उनीहरूले आफ्नो लक्ष्य बाहेक अरू केही देख्दैनन्। तपाईको फोकस जहाँ हुन्छ तपाईँ त्यही हासिल गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ। तपाईले मिल्खा सिंहलाई चिन्नु भएको होला। यदि चिन्नु भएको छैन भने उनी भारतका एक सरदार सिपाही हुन् जसले ओलम्पिकमा कयौं पटक भारतलाई जित दिलाएका थिए। उनलाई फ्लाइङ सिखको उपनामले चिन्ने गरिन्छ। उनको फोकस जहिले पनि आफ्नो लक्ष्यमा हुने गर्थ्यो। उनले पहिलो जित एक गिलास दुधमा फोकस गरेर हासिल गरेका थिए। उनी जब एकपटक दौडने क्रममा पल्टिरहेको थिए तब उनको साथीले दुधको गिलास भनेपछि मिल्खा सिंह उठेर दोगुर्न थालेका थिए। यसबाट पनि उनको फोकस सधैँ आफ्नो लक्ष्यमा हुन्थ्यो भन्ने पुष्टि हुन्छ। आफ्नो लक्ष्यमा फोकस गर्ने हो भने जस्तोसुकै अवस्थामा पनि लक्ष्य हासिल गर्न सकिन्छ भन्ने कुराको अर्को उदाहरण हुन् अरुणिमा सिन्हा। रेलको पट्टीमा परि एउटा खुट्टा गुमाएकी अरुणिमाले हस्पिटलको बेडबाट भनेकी थिइन् कि उनी माउन्ट एभरेस्ट चढ्नेछिन्। सबैले उनलाई मानसिक सन्तुलन गुमाएकी भने, तर अरूको हेपाइले उनले आफ्नो लक्ष्यलाई कहिल्यै फेरिनन्। उनी हस्पिटलबाट डिस्चार्ज भएपछि माउन्ट एभरेस्ट चढ्नको लागि ट्रेनिङ लिन थालिन्। उनले आफ्नो सम्पूर्ण समय आफ्नो लक्ष्यमा लगाइन् र माउन्ट एभरेस्ट चढेरै छोडिन्। अब पालो तपाईको कि तपाई आफ्नो लक्ष्यलाई लिएर कति फोकस गर्नु।